How's everybody doing? Um, so this is maybe the first time I'm doing this. I'm going to be uh, doing a short animation stream or video for Twitter. And I figured this would be a good one to do since this is going to be actually the first time I'm animating Zara for episode 3. And I think it goes without saying that this episode has taken longer than I intended to get to the bulk of the animation, but that's mostly because last year was kind of all over the place, and this episode is also has a lot of different elements, a lot of different characters, so that's mostly why. And so this is Zara, and it's crazy because the most of this design of hers, the dress and the hair and all that, the shoes I think came later, but most of that was actually done in 2019, so like over a year ago, which is crazy to think about now. And then I finished it like after the after I finished the special episode. I kind of added the final touches on it, but yeah, most of it was actually done like pretty soon after the third episode was done. I mean the second episode. So it's kind of crazy how long this episode has kind of been in the works and in development. So yeah, for the animation, I'm going to be just doing a basic walk cycle, and then I'm going to going to have her stop walking, and then put her. I think it's going to be her right hand on her hip, and then that'll be it for the. I mean, there's more to the scene, but that'll be it for the animation. This video at least. So yeah, let's do a basic walk cycle. And I don't really want to give away too much about the context of the scene. I it's pretty weird. I'm sure it's weird because this is a pretty small series, has a small following at this time. Maybe it'll get bigger, but I actually, it might be weird, but I actually am pretty pretty specific about what I show people before the episodes come out, and what's spoilers and what's not, because some things I figure, like, as much as this is a small series, there are some things where I figure it's just more fun and more gratifying to see it for the first time when you're actually watching the episode and not thinking like, oh, I saw this on the social media page, so this is what he was working on. Even though I'm very aware that not everyone who's gonna watch the show follows me and is going to even remember the things I posted, but still, I figure if I have one responsibility, it's that. All right, this is looking pretty good. Also, if you're wondering, the hair. When I'm actually animating and when I'm hold on, let me move the mic closer. When I'm actually animating, typically I make sure like everything is the lowest quality possible inside the viewport, so that, because if I were to kind of animate with, let's see, let's turn up the quality on the hair. If I were to animate like this, let's turn all the quality up. You could see the hair is kind of taking shape now. And this goes for all the models in the scene too. Like if I were to animate while they're in their highest kind of resolution, then it would kind of slow down the program, and then it would slow down the process, and it's just not a good idea. But I just wanted to show for anyone curious. So this is. So yeah, so this is what the hair is going to look like in like the actual quality. Um, but yeah, for now, while I'm animating, so that's why some things might look weird, like when it's in this form, because it's like because everything's at the lowest quality. So yeah, I'm gonna turn it all the way back down. We can have a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Just so I see the hair. I could just turn all the hair off and just, she could just be bald, but I'd like to turn it on a little bit. Yeah, that's actually, she she does look pretty good bald. Maybe an episode she'll lose all her hair. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, actually, it's actually much easier. See, now it's much easier to navigate this scene. And if this is turned up all the way, like if the quality is turned up all the way, then it's actually much harder. So yeah, that's just a side note. All right, so the basic pose here is good. So the cool thing about walk cycles, doing sort of walk cycles and run cycles too in Blender, or basic ones at least, is that Blender has this cool thing where you can kind of flip the poses. So if like, for instance, if a bone is on these things right here, the way you control the characters are called bones or armatures. So if the bone of her hand is on the complete opposite ends of the skeleton, and then you just name it .r, and then that sort of signifies the program to go, okay, it's on the right side, and then you do for this bone you put .l when you're naming the bone, and then Blender, then you can just click these. I did it for the feet as well. You can click these and then copy it, and then reverse, and then you copy the pose and then you paste it flipped basically. So it's basically pasting the pose from the other side of the body basically. So if I do it now, so yeah, see, so it just alternates. And that's a cool thing that I'm not sure if other programs do it. Maybe they do. I don't know, but I know Blender does it, and it's a cool feature. Makes things a little easier. But it doesn't always work if the character is not facing forward, or is in a different orientation. Alright, so let's flip. And you can do the same thing here. Um, oh, it also works with bones that aren't on the opposite ends of the skeleton too. So I can copy the pose here and then flip it, and then it goes to the opposite. Makes things much easier, which also is something that I discovered way later. So I was having before when I was doing walk cycles, I was having to do it to do it manually, and I still do sometimes when you can't do that. But yeah. Okay. So now let's do the middle pose. Let's bring the hips up. Alright. It's one step. Now we need to okay. Now that the middle step's done, we can just duplicate the middle pose here, the sort of in between step. This we can just duplicate this, and then just flip the. See right now, if I were to keep it going, hang on. Since I duplicated it, it would not look right. So if I were to keep it going as is, she'd step. And then go backwards, because the middle pose is duplicated. But if we flip, take this pose and we do what we did before and flip the pose. So copy, flip. So now, okay, now that's kind of the easy part. That's just the basic kind of walk cycle. Okay. Okay. So that's that. And now, like I said before, we're going to have her the last bit is she's going to put her right hand on her hip, and then that's it. At least that's it for this video. Maybe might want to work backwards. Maybe let's just start this pose and then work backwards. And also, I just realized she has like, I forgot that she has pink nails. I might change that. I don't know. I don't know if that goes well with the. Wait a second. Let me see. Is it actually pink? Because certain colors may, because of the way it's shaded, certain colors may look a certain way in the. Oh, it is pink. In the actual, I didn't even realize. I thought I changed it to white a while ago, just because I thought it matched. I don't know. Maybe it'll just be pink then. I don't know. Okay, so it's kind of the weird thing about making a series of so many characters. It's like I have to think. I feel like I have to think about like you know like everything that the character would do, or whether it be male or female. I'm like, does Zara have pink nails? I don't know. I don't really know. Why or why not girls choose certain colors for their nails. So I don't know. And I think like, would she? What? I don't know. Okay, I think this needs to be moved back a little bit. Okay. I think it should be. Hands should be pointed down a little more. I think. And okay. All right, that'll work for now. Okay. Let's move this up. So basically, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make this pose first, and then kind of work backwards. Because obviously she can't just go from walking straight to this pose. So I'm gonna create this first though, and then we'll work backwards a bit. I feel like this is Computer's being a little slow. I'm trying to, let me see if I could slow something, or if I could maybe try to make it a little faster. No, looks like everything's good. Okay, maybe it's. Trying to see if something is there's something called the subsurface modifier, which basically I can show you. It basically smooths out a model and makes it look a little better. Like I don't know if you can notice. Hang on. But it also makes things slower. So I always try to make sure that's toggled off when I'm actually working, and then make sure it's toggled. See, this is like how the model actually looks when it renders, but I turn that off. See how it goes back to being a little lower quality, a little less smooth. I turn that off for when I'm working, because when it's on, it kind of slows things down. I'm just trying to make sure everything is turned off. I think it is. I think the computer's just slow because I'm recording this, which is why sometimes it's kind of difficult to record when I'm working. All right, so oh, sorry, I've not been looking in chat. Your boy Knowledge says, nice username, by the way. Can I criticize your work for a second? Okay. Everyone's entitled. Said it was on one scene for a large portion of the episode. Happens multiple times. No, I did. I don't. I mean, it's not even that I say I disagree. It's just that that's kind of the style of the show that I've been trying to. That kind of inspired the style that I kind of film everything in. Is that it's called. I'm not sure how many people are gonna know what this is, but there's a style called cinema verite, which kind of inspired the first scene of the series, and it kind of inspired the kind of look. It's kind of like a documentary style kind of look and feel of the series that I kind of really liked when I was kind of developing and writing a script and the scenes, and so I kind of wanted everything to be a little longer than people are used to. Specifically, actually, the first scene was meant to be one shot, and with the camera actually not moving. So that was kind of like the inspiration behind the way that, and the way specifically like the first shots of each episode so far. That's kind of been kind of the inspiration behind it, because I kind of liked that sort of style for like a sci-fi fantasy series, which it might not be for everybody, but it's something that I kind of wanted to use to kind of just to kind of make things feel more I don't know, because it's like you're watching a sport. I kind of liked the idea that it had a kind of a feel of I feel that you're kind of like, for some shots, not obviously not like the race scenes that would work, but like some shots, because Hang on, I kind of messed something up here. Hey, Keisha says, how's it going? Um, Hang on, I think I messed. Okay, all right. So I'm going to. This is what happens when I work backwards. I'm going to. But yeah, I'm sure. But yeah, I'm sure the style. It's. I'm sure it's not for everybody. But even like actually the interview scenes with Flo and Zara in episode 2 were actually meant to go on a little longer, but then I sort of felt like I felt like it need to move on a bit, but yeah, there's a style called cinema verite, which I just really like, and when I was developing the first episode, I mean the series itself, but when I was making the first episode, it kind of inspired a lot of the style of the show, because I liked this is this is tough to do while I'm figuring this out, but I like the idea of just sort of introducing the audience to characters while uh, while the characters are kind of moving in and out of one space, and also I like the idea of writing scenes that kind of that kind of feel a little bit like you're a fly kind of on the wall, and I felt like it was kind of interesting. It was interesting to me, inter- to kind of introduce the world and the audience to the world in that way, rather than kind of kind of doing it the traditional way. It was just, I don't know. It's just something that's interesting to me, but I try to make sure also that certain things are being explained, and that story is is being told too. So it's not just like, because in the first episode there was a lot of idle conversation in the first draft, and then I had to kind of work certain certain exposition lines in there, so that it wouldn't just be all documentary style, but yeah, it's just part of the way uh, that I that I want the series to kind of feel. But yeah, and I'm sure it's not everyone's cup of tea, but like I'm personally just not I'm not like I'm I'm not always a fan of super fast pacing and a lot of camera moves in certain things, and so I think pacing is it's no matter what you're doing, whether it's whether it's super like a super cutty or not. I think there's different kinds of it, and I don't know. I felt like I wanted to experiment with how to tell the story in a kind of a different way than people are kind of used to, and yeah, that's my long answer. But yeah, I don't. That's just not something I like. I'm not. There's a type of pacing that I think people are used to. That when I watch the show, sometimes people are like, "Well, a scene should be like this and like that," it should cut like this, and there's just a style that I like for the show that I'm going for, and it's kind of what inspired the show a bit too, and so it is deliberate whether or not everyone's is on board with it. That's fine, but the problem with live streaming while doing animation is always difficult because you can't really play back the animation, and so sometimes I'm like, I can't look at the timing because the stream kind of slows down the computer, and but yeah, it's interesting how, and I mean, it's not nothing wrong with what you said, but it's interesting how people are like, I've had someone mention before where they're like, it's wrong, like it should not, like a scene should be cut like this, and I'm like, there's no rules, like, there's not that's just the style that the show's gonna be in. It's not, right or wrong. Like I've had many different films that have had many different, pacing, many different types of pacing and types of, not even pacing, but just camera, choice of how long the camera holds on something, and it's to me it's all about um, it's all about the feel of the show, and I feel like a part of the show kind of needs to be, at least for me, it needs to kind of feel like like you're watching, kind of with some of the shots I want it to feel like you're kind of watching almost like security cam footage or something, like a fly on the wall type of shot, like the first shot of episode 2. Actually, all the first shots I think they were kind of designed that way, and that was just what was interesting to me when I was developing it, since you're kind of introducing people to like a new sport, and so I thought was the most interesting version of that for me was not to kind of not to kind of to kind of put things on a platter for people, which is cool, but it's a way I feel like I'm not that interested in terms of editing a lot of times, or choice of camera. Like I felt like it was just really interesting to try and wait, she's supposed to go to this camera angle. This is difficult to do while I'm talking, but yeah, the fly on the wall kind of aspect of the series is that's just a part of the sort of motif and the sort of visual language that I kind of decided to go with ever since the first shot of the first episode. Well, not technically the first shot, but the first scene, and I actually went with it in the special episode too, to kind of tie it together with the first two episodes. Like I thought it was the special episode, the reason why it's one shot the whole time is kind of, it's kind of mimicking the like if you notice in the first two episodes, there's, you know, that scene where the players, you know, the races are introduced, and so in the special episode, because it's not a diving game, you know, it's not a diving racing competition, I thought it'd be kind of cool to kind of mimic that, but in this kind of underground way, where instead of like this announcer going like, this is this racer, this is this racer, the way that the diving championship, you know, is. I thought it'd be kind of cool to kind of take that format, but then make it kind of like grimy and underground, because the whole point of that episode is, you know, that she's kind of racing on these kind of sketchy off-world kind of planets, and so I thought, and so that shot of them kind of introducing themselves to the camera and walking up to the camera, which honestly is harder to do than cutting a lot. That was kind of like mimicking that style of that, which maybe every episode might have, to a certain extent, of introducing the racers in some kind of way. I'm still thinking about that, whether every episode will have, or every racing episode at least, because every episode is not going to be a racing episode. I'm still kind of thinking about whether every episode will have something like that. But because the special episode was a racing style episode, I thought it was kind of a, I thought it was kind of cool to kind of keep in the same format of introducing the racers in that way. And so yeah, that was, and plus it gives Zara, you know, her entrance, and because, you know, it's all one shot, it sets up. There's that part where there's the part where yeah, this is difficult to do while while I'm doing this, but there's a part where, you know, the person, the someone is being chased in the background basically, and so you know, instead of sticking to, you know, jump cuts and different cuts, I I try to, you know, incorporate all the story that kind of needs to be told into that one shot, like that bit of the guy running in the background, I think was something that was needed to kind of, you know, explain or to show that, like, this place is sketchy and dangerous, and this is a completely different contrast to what Zara is doing now. You know, like, this is like where this is where she started, and, you know, I mean, that wasn't like her first race, but you know what I mean. Like, that was what she was doing before, and so it's to show the contrast, and that, you know, wouldn't necessarily work if it was just kind of a traditional scene where they're cutting to different places and things. Anyway, yeah, it's there's a lot of reasoning behind it, but was thinking of uploading this to Twitter, uploading this video to Twitter, but now I'm thinking this is uh, this is pretty long, and it might just be better to. It might be better to maybe just make this a time lapse because this is taking a while. Can I play back the animation at all? Okay, I can play it a little bit. Let's move the hips. Also, I mean, this is not like there's nothing wrong with with what you said, but I I have had other situations and and instances where people are like, "Hey, like, can I criticize your work?" And then before I have anything, I think, "Well," and then they just kind of keep going. I'm like, "Okay, well, I didn't say yes or no, but no, but that's what art's for, you know. That's what it's for. It's to think about and like or dislike." But it is funny. I was like, that's happened to me before, where someone's like, "Hey, if you don't mind, can I?" And somebody I didn't know, like, it's just a Facebook message. It's like, "If you don't mind," it's like, "Well, and I didn't even say anything." And then they're just like, "Okay, so this is what you should do." It's like, well, it's like I didn't say yes. I would have said yes. But I'm just saying, I didn't. But yeah, I don't mind. It's just it's just funny that it's like it's happened to me multiple times. Oh, to answer Vince White, um, I skipped over your. Well, I wouldn't. I'm not really taking freelance stuff. Well, and I wouldn't take it through a live stream. But but yeah, I'm not really taking freelance jobs at the moment for at least not for rigging. And sure, yes, she is. She is indeed. I don't know what else would say that. Gotta remember to save. Gotta always remember to save. Okay, I think maybe this is being slow because no, I don't. Super choppy. Uh, See, that's the thing. I mean, I think for people who've been to my streams before, I think you probably heard me mention it a bunch of times. But yeah, it's difficult to do streams of animation because there's no real way to watch like the timing of it because if I try to play it back, it gets choppy because of Blender because of its streaming, and streaming kind of slows things down. Maybe it's because he's is that why? should be forward. Okay. Let me. This is. I think I'm gonna have to wait to end, or wait until the stream's over to see if I need to do any actual changes. Oh yeah. So her dress has a cloth modifier or simulator on it, so this part is not attached to her body, because that's the part where the cloth simulator is going to mostly do its work. But I think just for the purposes of this, I think I can attach it to the body. Sorry about that. Okay. All right. I think that's good for this. Uh, Hang on. Let me. One more thing. Okay. All right. Now I'm gonna save. Okay. Let me see if the playback works. Actually, no. I think that's good for the stream. It's been about an hour. I think that's good enough. I set out to do what I wanted to do. Just do the basic walk cycle and have the hand on the hip. And now, basically, I need to see if it works. And I can't really see while it's streaming because I can't really play it back while it's streaming. So, yeah, I think that'll do it for the stream. Okay. I think I'll try to stream a little more often than in the past couple months, since I'll be doing Diver more often than I was before. So, yeah, I'll try to stream a little bit more.